When in the midst of sorrow, you can see how friends looking optimistic. On a brighter day, tomorrow will bring. Oh, be optimistic. You hear the voice of reason telling you this could never be done. Optimistic. No matter how reality seems, just hold on to your Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome again to tonight's talk show, Life with Shenita. I am Shenita Connolly, and I would like to just welcome you guys and thank you for joining us this evening for a conversation about money, for the love of money. This is part 2 to Team Gantt. Team Gantt was with us several weeks ago, and by popular demand, we are back again to discuss money. So I want to thank you guys for joining us. I am super excited. As most of you all know, I am here because of the loss of my husband in 2015, and that we did not have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed when he had his heart attack on June 30th. And I want to make sure that people are really thinking about and planning for the inevitable, and that they are prepared to leave a legacy, that their family members will be in a better shape than they were when they were here. I'm determined. I'm on a mission. And so I am grateful to my Father God for giving me this opportunity to continue to live and thrive. Life with Shenita is here to help people overcome life's challenges. We can't avoid those challenges, but we can certainly have a different perspective and moving forward and deciding that we will embrace life regardless to the challenges that we face. So, is your house in order? Is the question that I want you guys to think about and to ask yourself. Is your house in order? Is your financial house in order? Do you have your will? Do you have your power of attorney? Do you have adequate life insurance? Do you have someone named on your bank account if it's just your bank account solely? Do you have someone pay up on death when something happens to you? We want to make sure that your house is in order. So tonight, again, we are bringing back Mr. Floyd Gantt to discuss For the Love of Money. He is a financial advisor with Edward Jones. His office is located in Fayetteville, Georgia, and he is an amazing husband, father, businessman, son, and so much more. So we thank him for taking the time out this evening to come back and share his wisdom and his knowledge and his experience with us. So without further delay, I am going to bring Mr. Gantt in so that we can continue the conversation for the love of money.
Yeah, Yahoo.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome back again.
Thank you for having me again. I'm excited to be here again. And hopefully we can continue sharing some knowledge on this particular issue.
Yes.
My wife just came back in, so she'll be ready in a second also.
Okay, wonderful. I'm excited to have both of you guys, Team Gantt, in the house. So while we're waiting for her, we'll go ahead and just kind of start a couple of questions. And I'm just going to ask those 2 questions that we started with last time, just to remind the audience of why they should have a financial advisor, 1. And then the other question is, what does having a financial advisor have to do with getting your house in order? So if we can just, I guess review those two questions would be a great start for this evening.
Okay, and again, we want to thank you for having your platform and making it available so people can understand and continue to gain knowledge in this subject. I guess I'll start off with what I said last time, and I'll tell you, just like you need a spiritual leader, a medical doctor, I always tell people they need a financial leader. I would tell you my history. I have a mathematics undergrad degree from the prestigious Fort Valley University, and I have a Master of Business from Clark Atlanta University. In finance. I worked in corporate finance for over 7+ years before I opened my own business in the financial advisory arena, wealth management. And then I also have a Master's of Accounting and Taxation degree from the University of Hartford. But yet I sat there contributing to my 401k plan, but not understanding all the options I had. Now, if I had a financial advisor at my time working in corporate America, I would also, while I was contributing to my 401k, receiving a match. The match is the free money that you receive from a company. I would have done a Roth IRA also. Maybe I would have had other investments in different things and life insurance. But because I did not seek a financial advisor who helps you with the plan, I was limited into the scope of what I learned in school. And you would think that with high school, undergrad degree, and graduate degree, they would tell you everything you have to know about finances, but I guess what the answer is? No, they don't tell you everything. So I would tell you, just like we have to learn things, we need to have a coach sometimes to kind of guide us on that path. So when you're talking about getting your house in order, one part of getting your house in order is reaching out to someone to make sure they can bring a small piece of that in place. I tell clients, I don't necessarily help them with their budget in a sense. I could give you a budget, but you may have somebody who may help with your budget. You may have somebody help you with your credit. You may have somebody help you with your estate planning. That's what state attorneys do as far as will a particular, what am I thinking about? We talking about a will or
Power of attorney?
Not power of attorney. I'm thinking about
estate or trust.
Trust, a will or trust. Those people take care of all those needs. But what I look at is your financial plan as far as making sure all the money's in the right place based on your risk level. And sometimes you need that because you want to make sure that money is not sitting there not making any interest, And that's the most important thing. So when you look at all that, you need to look at what should I be doing moving forward, and am I making my money work as I move forward?
That's good. And I know, as it relates to getting your house in order, that's exactly what you will assist them in doing, is getting their house in order, making sure that they look at the dollars, now and when something happens, whether it be an illness or death, do we have enough funds to take care of my family and my, including my wife and my children, those who depend on me?
Yes.
So those things are very important to cover. And I just want to make sure the audience understands that having a financial advisor will help you ensure that your house is in order as it relates to the finance piece.
Let's talk about the different pieces of that. And you talked about some important points. When a person comes into office, your advisor, whether it's myself or anybody, first of all, we should know who you are. So we need to find out, who is Shenita Conley? Who is she as we move forward? After we know who you are, then we have to assess your risk level. Everybody's different. People think, and people come all the time, Floyd, I want to invest in Amazon, or I want to invest in this stock. You may not need a stock. It's not about the investment, it's the vehicle. So first of all, we have to understand, what's your path that we need to go down? Are you doing a 401k? Are you doing a Roth? Do you have life insurance? So we need to set that plan in place. Once we set that plan in place, then we could talk about different investments that you may want to go into based upon your risk level. The most important thing I tell individuals is the plan. We have to have the plan in place, and we need to set goals with that plan so we can reach that point. So you talk about retirement, you talk about reaching out and reaching that point, whether it's at 65 or 70 or what age you look for retirement. We want to make sure you have enough money that you can live the same lifestyle you lived before.
That is so important. And as we've discussed before, Winston and I knew to come sit down and talk with you, but we did not make time to do that, as so many other people do. And so, I was left in a not so good position. And so my goal is to make sure that I'm speaking about this topic that most people don't want to talk about, so that they can talk about it.
Yes.
Because we got to not only talk about it, but there's got to be some action behind it. So I appreciate what you do to help so many family members in the office and outside of the office. So I know that your wife is here, and I know we have some other questions to dive into, but I'd like to invite her in so that we can include her in on the rest of the conversation. If you're good with that, I'm good with it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think they enjoyed having you both the last time, and we talked about a part 2. So I think this is going to be good. All right. So we'll invite Miss Tangi Gantt in. Hey, Tangi. I think you're on mute. There we go.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Thank you for being here. I know he said you weren't feeling your best, but I thank you for pushing through, as we do so often, to be here tonight, because this is by popular demand. People really enjoyed the conversation for the love of money the last time. And so I think that having you both on is a really awesome connection here. So let's continue the conversation. So retirement accounts. What does the Roth do for a person like myself, and why should I have one?
I know we said we'll get more detail on this conversation, so that's a great question, and thanks for asking, Shenita. And I want to make sure everybody understands and how it works, right? So an individual walks in the office, we talk about a financial plan, and one thing we talk about is our 401k plan at work. Everybody at work needs to do what we call a match, M-A-T-C-H. That's what the company's matching you at. There's a statistic out there around 90% of the companies match between 2 to 6% of your salary. So I always tell people at least do 10% of your salary at your job, at least 10%, because you're covering that match if they match at 2 to 6%. If the Lord says give, one of the things I use, the Lord says give to the church 10%, you need to give to yourself 10% also. So live off 90% of your money whenever you think about that moving forward. The next part of that, a lot of clients may say, Floyd, we have extra cash outside of that. We can look at what we call a Roth IRA. So 401k first, Roth is second. If you don't have a company and you work for yourself, or you work or your company does not match you, or the company does not have a 401k plan, you can start with what we call a Roth IRA. And a Roth IRA, to me, is the best thing since sliced bread. It's after-tax money, so it's money you have in your pocket now, Shenita's money that Tangi you have in your pocket now that you can put into an investment. So it's after-tax money, So the most you can put in is $6,000 if you're under 50 and $7,000 if you're over 50. Now you can invest in anything you want to. You can be aggressive, you can be conservative. Hopefully you fall somewhere in the middle, but whatever you invest in, whatever money grows, by the time you reach retirement, you can pull all that money out. And this is the big kicker, tax-free. Tax-free. So for example, Shenita, you're under 50 years of age, right?
Thank you very much. I'll be hitting 56 in a few months, but thank you.
Okay. I was gonna give you the 6,000, but let's just say for 56, 7,000 is the most you can put in a Roth. So you give me 7,000 a day, Shenita. He said, well, what did I invest in? That's up to who, Shenita? That's up to who? That's up to you.
Right.
You decide if you want to be aggressive, moderate, or conservative. I will give you my opinion based upon your risk level, but you'll decide where you want to go. And then what a financial advisor does, they'll help you choose some of those investments to make you money depending on your risk level. But that 7,000 you put in, Shenita, by the time you reach 5 years from now, okay, 63, that 7,000 grew to, let's say, 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you call me up and say, Floyd, I want all my money back. Will you pay any taxes on it?
You said it was tax-free.
That's right. You won't pay any money because it's tax-free as long as you have it in for 5 years and you reach the age of 59 and a half, no matter what you invest in. That's a Roth IRA. That's why it's so great.
So let me ask you this. Do you have a minimum starting contribution for that Roth?
You do not. At Edward Jones, we have a minimum of 5,000. That's just a company standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But most places you can start off $100, $200. You just want to be serious about what you're doing. Okay, you just want to be serious. But whatever monies you put in there, you never have to pay any taxes on the money that grows. Also, the reason it's advantageous for you to do a Roth, if you put 7,000 in there, let's say the 7,000 grows to 12,000. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you ever needed that money, you can actually take the money you put in back out with no penalty, even if you haven't reached the age of 59 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Because the money you put in has already been taxed. So that's the advantages of the Roth. So everyone really should do what? A Roth, because that money grows tax-free,
Mm-hmm.
and you can take that money out if you ever need it.
That's awesome.
Now, I'll tell you some other benefits, by the way. If you are passed away, it goes to your beneficiaries tax-free also.
Awesome.
Also, no age that you can stop. As long as you have earned income, you can always put money into a Roth. So it's a great way to save money every year. And if you ever need to touch it, you can, but at least the money is growing tax-free. And in the life, we want to stay away from paying any taxes.
So what if I wanted to start saving and I don't have the 5,000? Say I wanted to go to Edward Jones and I don't have the 5,000, but I wanted to start saving. Where would I go? Where would I start with you?
Yes. So if you don't have the 5,000, what I usually do with clients, a great question. I usually open up a savings account for them and just have them put in money to build up their kind of build up their reserve account. I call it reserve account. We want to make sure people are able to budget. The first thing I tell people, if you don't have money sitting in your savings account, you can't come see me. And the reason I say that, we need to have at least 3,000 to 10,000 in a savings account, because if something ever occurred in life, I don't want you to run to your retirement account to take out your money. I don't want you to run to retirement account to take out your money. So let's have 4,000 or 5,000 already saved in your personal savings account. It's not making you the money, but in case an emergency occurs, let's be able to reach and grab that money if you need to. Now, once you reach that 3,000 or 4,000, Floyd, I want to start saving. I open up what we call a non-qualified or reserve account. We'll have money come in there, and I want to make sure that you can budget without touching it. Unfortunately, after 13 years in the business, sometimes you find out that people cannot save. It's hard for people. And I
was one. So I just want to be transparent. So
it's hard, right. And I get it. So I want people to understand that this is for retirement. So no matter what, I don't care who's sick in your family, what's going on, we really need to hold this money for retirement. So I challenge people that, listen, we don't have the 5,000 up front. Let's start saving $100, $200 in an account. And once you reach the 5,000, we'll open up that Roth account. But in the meantime, don't touch that money. Pretend it's not there. If you can do that, then you can really continue to budget. But the only way you can budget in life is by not paying attention to that money. And it's tough sometimes. I know things happen in people's lives. We haven't talked about it, but we're in a situation now with COVID-19. And people have lost their jobs. Things have started to occur. I've been busier than I've ever been busy. I've been busier than I've ever been as far as in the industry, because so many of my clients either lost a job, rollover, or new clients who are concerned about their finances at the time. I've had probably had over 30, 40 new clients in the past 2 months. Good and bad. The bad thing is that a lot of people within the next few months will be unemployed because of what we're going through. Unemployment is over 11, 12%. And that's the bad part. And I think we will have a second wave of COVID-19. The other part, there's going to be opportunity to it, right? Opportunity. The market went down in March. Clients called me. I had so much individuals reach out to me, and they were able to place trades into the market to make money. and the market skyrocketed back up. But everybody's not back where they're supposed to be. So there will be opportunities as we move along. But during these times, we will see certain industries fall or maybe don't exist the way they existed before. I'm worried about the restaurant industry. I'm worried about the malls. There's stocks out there in malls like Simon Properties that deals with Lenox Mall. Will malls be around in the future? Where does JCPenney's fall in, which already filed bankruptcy? A lot of different companies out there that may not be around. So as we start to think, and what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to look at what companies are starting to grow. Is it your Amazon, your technology companies that didn't go down a lot and it came back up really fast? And should we put a majority of our monies in that? So those are the things you're thinking about as you move forward, because we will rebound. There will be a vaccine, but for now, you do have turbulent times.
Yeah, I mean, I hear it all the time. I have friends in corporate America, and upper management has been asked to reduce their salary for a period of time, and some of the other staff members, their contributions that the company is contributing, everything's impacted by this COVID-19. School system, I'm sure, we're going to feel it at some point. Is so uncertain, and that's why I am so determined to have these conversations, because again, Winston and I did not do a good job with making sure that this part of our life was in order. And so sometimes those inevitable things happen and we're not prepared, and it's devastating. And so I'm hoping that people are listening. I'm hoping they are taking action, that they'll schedule an appointment to come sit down and talk with you to figure out what they have going on so you can assist them. This is so important. I can't stress it enough, especially for those you leave behind who were depending on you financially. If I could just scream it from the mountaintop, I would. So thank you for breaking it down for us. Can we talk a little bit about life insurance? Do you offer that in your agency? Do you sit down with clients and talk about what they have, what they need, etc.? Do you discuss that?
Yeah, and I will say something also about that. So most financial advisors, and let's talk about it so people can understand it. Majority of financial advisors, they will offer wealth management, offer advice on different investments, whether it's Roth or a 401k plan for companies or a simple or self business plans for yourself. But they majority also offer insurance. So a financial advisor will offer insurance plan. The other thing you have out there, you have insurance agents. They will offer life insurance too, and also annuities and different things out there. But I want to make sure people understand, if you go to a person that works with an insurance, can't necessarily offer you investments within the financial arena. Okay, so make sure that you're finding the right product for you and what you're doing. But a financial advisor has the opportunity to offer annuity, life insurance, or whatever product they think is best for you. So life insurance. Usually any financial advisor usually can offer you several different life insurance. For example, Edward Jones is partnered with about 7 different insurance companies: MetLife, John Hancock, AIG, Prudential, Protective, to name a few, Pac Life. It's very simple. Basically, somebody tells me their need, based on their need, I try to find the best price based on the needs between those insurance companies.
Okay, good. So if they schedule an appointment with you, you can assist in that area as well.
Yeah, and it's a total financial plan dealing with that, right? So one of the things we talked about, Shenita, I will handle the financial and the insurance to give you my opinion on different things. It's up to you to get there. But I also have key referrals. So we talked about the trust account when I talked about earlier, wills, and you talk about POAs in the state. I have about 3 different estate attorneys I refer my clients to. I have CPAs that I refer my clients to, certified public accountants that help with taxes. You try to get a good team, and I talked about that before. I'm always out trying to meet people, receiving their cards, and trying to get information. Tangi collects information from different people, and try to be a good spread of the word, because I think it benefits people. Yes, I'm working on finances, but somebody else may help you with their taxes. Somebody else will help you with their estate, and hopefully we find the best people we can to try to help with your needs. But there are some good people out there.
Mm-hmm. And so, Tangi, can you, chime in on, what it has been like? I know we talked about this the last time, being the wife of a financial planner. What has that been like? Can you kind of um, share with us again, what has that been like for you all on this journey as one, even from the beginning?
Yes, Shenita. I would say, as piggyback a little bit about we spoke briefly, just if I tell anybody, knowledge is power. The more knowledge you know, the further you'll go. It's been proven in history. And I can say as you know, being a mom, a wife, and having that knowledge and, being blessed to have it right here in our household, I feel very prepared for the future. And that is a feeling that you can't put a price tag on.
Peace.
If something happened to my husband, my daughter and I will be taken care of. I feel like if something happened to me, he set up my portfolio, my investments, my benefits, everything that needs to be set up. So him and my daughter will be taken care of. If something happens to the both of us, then she would be in a good position that whoever is left responsible to take care of her would not be hit with the financial burden of providing for her as she matriculates in life. And for me, that's hands down the best part of this is the
Yes.
peace of mind to know that our future is secure, the peace of mind to know how to strategize our, the peace of mind to know what your team can't do next, and it's a
Mhm.
part of our goals that we set, but it builds upon his Floyd's knowledge of what's going on with the market, what we should be invested in, what how we find our goals and the things that we want, the things we want to do in life with our financial investment.
And so, last week we had the conversation with couples, and I'm a marriage champion. And because sometimes being married, couples still don't have the tough conversations about money, about death, and all of those things. And I heard you say, when he passes, me and my daughter will be taken care of. We have made sure when and if I go before him, he and my daughter are well. If we both go, our daughter is well, and whomever is left to take care of her will have plenty funds to do so. Can we speak to couples out there about the importance of coming to sit down and having the conversation as a couple with a financial advisor? Because if Winston and I had done that, Floyd would have probably said, let me ask them all of these questions and get all of the answers to make sure that they will be good. I just had a repast to prepare food for last weekend of a couple that was married for 30 years, and the wife was not on the life insurance policy. And so we know that there are many couples out there who have been together maybe for years, maybe not for as many years, that are not having the important questions about money for
But
whatever the reason is. So, how can we speak to them tonight and encourage them to schedule an appointment to sit down? Because me and Winston were too busy doing life to make the appointment. How do we speak to them to encourage them to go to your office, to dial the number that's strolling here, to do that? What do we
um,
say?
Janina, I'm sure you have something that you want to say. But I want to say it starts with a platform like this, breaking the stigma of fear. I think a lot of times, even when I talk to my friends, and one thing people should know about Floyd is everything is confidential. And I don't know why people are afraid that, their business will get out or whatever. I've had girlfriends who say, "Oh, Jermaine, Floyd just left my house." I was like, "He did? I didn't even know he had an appointment with you."
Mhm.
He doesn't, share that stuff. that's it's almost like you're going to the doctor. It's a HIPAA loss, kind of. So breaking the stigma of being embarrassed of what you make or what you think you're supposed to have, or not feeling like enough. You have to be rich to have a financial advisor, financial planner. But it's just having the tough questions, because I remember we were in premarital counseling, and Floyd, he had all his little questions ready. I'm in there like I'm gonna get married. It's gonna be great. And I remember him asking about finance, and it wasn't a question that we had ever had prior to even being engaged. So one of his questions was, and he knew that I carried a heavy student loan debt, and it was basically like, well, what happens to her debt? Do we carry it together? Do I carry it? And I remember brushing it off and not wanting to have the conversation. Like, you don't need to worry about that. That's my responsibility, not yours. But in reality, it's not. Like you said, once you get married, it becomes our responsibility. And I know I talked to this point previously on the show, but 2 months into us getting married, I was diagnosed with cancer. And at that point, everything that I had that was debt became his responsibility, because I was too sick to care for myself. And even decisions that needed to be made where my parents were used to make decisions for me, they looked to him. How is my car note going to get paid? How is my medical bills going to get paid? How are credit card bills going to get paid? How are all of these things going to get paid that we never discussed for sickness or in sickness? That was never discussed. What is the game plan for in sickness? You don't know if that's going to come at the beginning or if that's going to come at the end. And for us, it came in the beginning. And once again, I was blessed to have had somebody in my life who had the mindset of financial preparedness that jumped in and was like, I need to do A, B, C, D. So we're not in a situation when you come out of this that we can't climb out. And if that doesn't body today, because if I would have been married to somebody else that might not have had the knowledge, that might not have taken the time to learn to sit with the financial planner, which he did prior to him going into the career field, we would not be in the situation we're in today. We could have been in a very, very bad, but when I say bad situation, we could have lost everything. Everything, our house, cars, everything.
And that's good. People don't really think about that because it's marital bliss. And so you think, oh no, then nothing gonna happen. You don't know. And as you said, 2 months in, for me and Winston, it was 6 months after we got married. So that should have been enough for us to say, oh boy, we better get over there and talk to Floyd Gantt, right? But again, us, just like so many others that are out there watching this broadcast, and those who may not be watching this broadcast, we don't want to talk about money, or we don't want to talk about the tough conversations. So Floyd, I know you have something to add to that.
Why are we afraid? I thought about it. We should seek knowledge, right? We should seek knowledge. This is the missing link. We talk about from a diverse community standpoint. We haven't had this knowledge before. If clients walk into my office, usually they have real estate, they have land. Sometimes people are high net worth, but they may not have $1 million in their investment. And I get excited about investments. I didn't have that knowledge before. I told you I had 3 degrees. Nobody sat down with me and really broke down everything I should be doing other than my 401k plan. And really nobody broke down my 401k plan. It's not like, it's with Fidelity with the company, but nobody came to my company and said, Floyd, you should invest in these things, right? I basically kind of guessed and tried to figure it out. The knowledge is what gets us to the other level. We should be excited about understanding, whether it's myself or someone, find someone you enjoy being with, someone who can lead you on that journey and answer your questions. What I try to do is I try to live by integrity and honesty and try to tell people what I really think. If I think you're not gonna have enough money during retirement, this is where you're gonna be, Shenita. This is where you're gonna be located, Tangi. That's where it is. I can't change those facts, but what we can do, we can put up more money to reach you. If you get more money in there, maybe we can get you a higher place. or maybe we could cut off some things. You pay off the house before you retire. But we should seek and want to reach out for that knowledge, and don't be afraid of it. It's a missing link because we didn't have other diverse financial advisors when we were young. We don't have enough diverse financial advisors now. I would tell you within Edward Jones, you know what our percentage is across the country? 8%. 8%. That's not a huge percentage. But we can't let that stop us. We have the internet now. We have certain things that we can, different vehicles out there. So it's going to be up to us to make sure money doesn't sit into our account, not making any money. I do a webinar every quarter. I just had a webinar. I had a fund family called PIMCO, which is a mutual fund family. And they talked about fixed income, which is your safe money. And what he told me was PIMCO, which is a mutual fund family, they don't believe the Federal Reserve is lower interest rates. They've decreased interest rates because they want people to buy homes to stimulate the economy. So that's the money that the banks borrow the money back from the Federal Reserve. If you've seen the crisis we went through in March, they lowered it down to zero, almost to zero. It's like 0.1 or something like that off the top of my head. What that means going forward in your savings account, money market account, you're not going to be making any money. CDs are going to be 0.4, 0.5%. So you can't live off a certificate of deposit money that you gave a bank. You need to put that money up so you can make some more money. So we have to understand that with interest rates being so low, and what PIMCO told me, they don't believe it's going to go up. Their estimate was to 2022. So think about that. If you have money in the money market account that used to get paid 1.7 or 2%, now you're getting paid 0.4. That's not going to get you there. And you need to put that money somewhere else. So in order for you to put somewhere else, you need to have the knowledge and understanding that you feel comfortable putting it somewhere else. You need to find out what equity is, what stocks are, things that you can make money off of. I don't worry about making money because I feel like I know the statistics. I'm a mathematical man. I told you my undergrad was mathematics, and I know if I put my money in the market, in the last 30 years, I had all my money in stocks. There were around 23 positive years and 7 negative years. Those were the statistics. I know there are going to be more up years and down years. So with that, with me knowing that, I can be more aggressive in nature, and I know money's going to be there. So with the knowledge, and I try to tell people, people say, well, Floyd, I'm going to give you some money and I'm just going to leave. No, you need to understand what the bases are, because if you understand, then you're going to continue to put money in because you'll continue to make money as you move forward. But if you don't understand, you will never put money up. And that's where we at. We have to make money, especially our diverse community. And I talk about diverse because this is our first time owning stocks. I've had clients and other nationalities come in my office and ethnicity groups, and they've owned stocks that have been passed down generation after generation. Home Depot, millions of dollars, just Aflac, whatever stock it started off small. It was passed from generation to generation. Before you know it, they come in my office, they got $2 million there. That's called legacy. Why shouldn't everybody have a legacy? Those who do not have a legacy, a lot of my diverse clients, this is our first time buying a stock, which is owning a piece of a company, being what we call a shareholder, right? Buying some of it. If you like Amazon, if you like the individual who runs Amazon, why not buy a piece of Amazon? Because he's doing a great job. If he does a great job, the stock will go up. Why not own a piece of a company and understand that? And if you don't need the money down the road, pass it along to your next generation. So build your legacy. I've seen it so many times, but you won't build unless you understand. So what Tangi talked about, the knowledge, don't be afraid to seek knowledge. Do not be afraid.
That's awesome. Someone actually asked a question and they said, would you share some information on mutual funds and annuities? Is one better than the other?
So that's a great question. And I will share that. And I appreciate it because I know we said we're going to get a little bit more detail. Something else about the Roth that we talked about, I did not mention. Roth does have a cap. If you make too much money, you cannot do a Roth. But there's other ways around that. But I did want to share that some people who make above the threshold cannot do a Roth. Mutual funds versus annuities. I had a client recently came to me and said, Floyd, I want to buy an annuity. He told me what he wanted to purchase. So, well, that's not how it works. We want to find out first what's best for you. So I need to know who you are, Shenita. I need to know what you're doing. I need to know your risk level. Then I'll tell you what my opinion on what you should invest in. So 90% of the time in my office, most people have mutual funds, probably 95%, and maybe even 97. Mutual funds, instead of being in one stock, in one company, you're in several companies. Okay, that's how you build wealth. So what I tell clients, a mutual fund is like a birthday cake. Your candles are your stocks. I don't want you to buy any stocks, candles, unless you have a what? Birthday cake. All right. So mutual funds, instead of owning one stock, you own many. So when people buy mutual funds, we may say, "Floyd, I'm put 10,000 in a mutual fund." That's mutual fund. Let's say I bought one mutual fund. That mutual fund may have 300 different investments, 100 different companies. So they have Home Depot, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, Amazon, Google. Just because Google goes down doesn't mean Amazon and Home Depot are going down. So that's what a mutual fund, it diversifies your risk. Okay, now, annuity can have mutual funds aside of it. They call it sub-accounts. But annuities have certain clauses on it. It's for my clients. I may have a small percentage of my office with annuities, but I do have a need for it. A lot of annuities give you certain things called guarantees. So annuities are from insurance companies. And if you want those guarantees, you say, "Floyd, I'm afraid of the market. I'm afraid of this." Even though you told me if I was in the market out of 30 years, 23 positives, 7 negatives, that -7, when it goes down 7 times, I can't handle it. Well, maybe you get an annuity that maybe it's a guaranteed income rider where no matter what happens in the market, you're going to be paid 5.5% for the rest of your life. Maybe you have a fixed annuity that they tell you, "I'm going to pay you 3% or 2% or 4% for the next 5 years." There's different types of annuities, but annuities usually come with a guarantee. But with that guarantee, you got to pay extra money for it. And they have something called surrender costs, where if you want all your money, Shenita, a lot of times you may open up an annuity and 3 years later you say, "Floyd, I want all my money." Guess what? You can't get it out without paying those surrender costs. See, annuities give you a guarantee, but a lot of times they'll lock up your money for 5, 7, or 10 years, depending on the guarantee you have. So when I tell people you have an annuity, you want to be careful, because even though they give you that guarantee and you feel good about that guarantee, a lot of times they'll lock your money up where you can't get access to it. So I like to have money where the people get access to it. So some of them may retire and they may have 500,000, and they may be very conservative. We may put 100, 200,000 in that annuity, right? But the other 300,000 will go in mutual funds and different investments where if they need to get that money, they can get what? Access to all of the money, but they wanted a guarantee. They had a guaranteed annuity. So you want to diversify. You just don't want to put it all in one. Annuities has its advantages. There's all types of annuities, but you want to be careful and not put all your money into annuity. But annuity does have a special place, especially if you want that guaranteed money to come in at all times.
That's good. Not putting all your eggs in one basket.
I would agree with that in that sense.
Yeah.
Just with annuity.
Yeah. And so let's talk about, someone asked, what percentage of liquid cash would you suggest we keep in money markets or savings accounts?
So that's a very good question. You know, a lot of people say 6 months salary, right? 6 months. I tell people this. I break it down in 2 different categories. And this is my opinion. Short term, I tell people to have 3 to 10,000. Okay, 3 to 10,000 there just for emergency money. That's most of my family. Just emergency, just having in your bank account in case you need it. Now, the other money you may have there, I call it long term. And long term, I don't want you to touch it for 1 year or greater. 1 year or greater. But instead of leaving the savings, we put it in what we call corporate bonds. Corporate bonds making about 4 to 5%. That's their average. Corporate bonds are where you let corporations borrow your money. It's still not a stock, but it's paying you a higher interest in a savings account. Now, you can have as much as you want there. You can have 20 or 30,000 there if you want. If you have 10,000 in your short term, let's say 20,000 in your long term, you still have 30,000 of liquid cash. But just don't have it in one place. Don't have it all in a what? Money market or savings. Start to understand there's other investments out there, and I call it long term. So you can borrow from corporations. You can have municipalities, which are muni bonds, which are tax-free, but all of those pay higher rates than a savings account, which pays you 0.2. Corporations like Home Depot and Walmart, when you let them borrow your money, they pay you around 4 to 5%. If you ever need the money, it just takes 4 days to get it out. So the difference is you want to leave it there 1 year or greater, long term, but if you need the money right away, short term. But I don't want 50,000 or 40,000 or 80,000 sitting in the savings account not making any what? Money. Okay. Now, how much you should have there? It's kind of up to each individual. For short term, though, I do suggest between 3 to 10 at least, because emergencies do come up. But if you're going to work on your house, you may say, I need 20,000 there. I need 30,000. But whatever you have, just don't leave it sitting in the savings account. If you don't need it for a year or two, put it somewhere else to make higher interest.
That's great. That's great advice. That's why they should make an appointment to see you. And does it matter if they live in Georgia or not? That's all. That's what I want to know. If somebody's watching this and they don't live in Georgia, does it matter?
So, you know what? That's a great question. And you know how I told you I've been very busy the last couple of months. Maybe it was from your show. Maybe it's from your show that we did several months ago.
That would be great, right?
I've been so busy. We've been seeing probably 2 to 3 new clients every other day. I've probably been 8 new clients a week, 9 new clients. Awesome. And that's a lot of new clients that you have to sit down and go through the entire process. The funny thing is we have Zoom now, we have WebEx. These clients don't necessarily live in the area. I was old fashioned. I never used WebEx. I never used Zoom before. We didn't have Zoom, of course, back in the day. I used to visit you. I used to knock on your door and come by. You'd be on the other side of Atlanta. But I love Zoom. I love Zoom. And I talk to my California clients. My highest clientele behind Atlanta is Alabama. I do a school out there, and I have a lot of clients in Birmingham. I'm Zooming in, right? I'm Zooming in. It's like the next door. So it doesn't matter where you live. I had a client reach out to me the other day. They lived in Michigan. You know, it doesn't matter where you live, and it makes it so close now. Share the screen, you can share everything. So it worked out wonderful. And technology is always going to get better. So I feel that going forward, it used to be that kind of they want to feel and touch you. But sometimes with the Zoom, some of the things I'm able to show them on screen, it's almost like they're there in my office.
That's awesome. So I think Tangi got knocked out, but we're going to let her back in. She's back in because we're getting close to our closing time. But I want to make sure that the audience know that they can contact you regardless of where they live, and your information is right there to schedule an appointment with you and make sure that their affairs are in order, to make sure that they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's. And so, Tangi, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience before we kind of get ready to close out from your experience, whether it's personal or professional, that you would like to say to the audience?
Yeah, it's just go ahead and take that first step, and always know that I'm going to always say that knowledge is power, but I also want to say that don't be afraid to be the pioneer for your family. One thing that I can also appreciate with my husband is that some of the things that him and his cousin set up was pioneering for the Gantt family. And someone has to step up and do it. And why not it be you? In addition to bringing your self-knowledge, spread that knowledge, throughout our community, with your family, pass it along to your children, your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren. It's time. The time for knowledge is now. The time for things happening and us saying, oh, well, I didn't know that. Those excuses are no longer valid because the information is at our fingertips. And if you choose not to do that, that's a different story. But if you put yourself in line with getting the knowledge and making sure that you have the knowledge, then you can only soar to the top from there and be in a position that your life you can have a peace of mind. You cannot put a price tag on that. You cannot put a price tag on that.
You sure can't. I remember when Winston passed away, and I was stressed out about how I would be able to maintain because he was the breadwinner, and God said, will experience lack if you choose to. There are some things that you have to do, meaning
Right.
you, the person. So yes, you're right. There's no excuse in most cases for us to be living in poverty or to not have what we need for our family members or planning for them. There's no excuse for that. So you're right. Floyd?
And I just want to add too, and it's identifying the difference between our needs and our wants, and not prioritizing. I know I talked about this last segment. Not prioritizing our wants over our needs. Financial planning, it's a need. Estate planning, it's a need. Leaving a legacy, it's a need. Going to buy materialistic things, a new car, a new house, handbags, shoes, those are wants. Those come behind your needs.
That's wonderful, Tangi.
Yes.
Can I piggyback off that?
Yes.
With so much going on, Black Matter Lives, the different things that's happening and what we're doing, why do you think knowledge financially is being kept away from so many different people in our community?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Shenita.
I was just gonna say to keep us in bondage, but that's in my mind, to keep us behind to a certain degree.
Yeah, and I agree. And I was asking that question just kind of sit on top of your head to think about it. Listen, we need to seek certain things out there. We need to continue to develop. We need to continue to find ways to do it. I'm not perfect. I don't know all the answers. I try to locate and gain knowledge to help my clients. Somebody asks me a question I don't understand. I tell them, listen, I don't know the answer to that question, but let me get back with you. And it really doesn't matter who it is. No matter what race, no matter what's going on, I'm going to try to get the most knowledge I can for individuals so we can continue to grow. Everybody has to seek that knowledge for your own. Tangi brought up a great point. We cannot be worried about materialistic things. When the future hits, you want just as many items as you have now when you're 70, 65. You have to put up some for the future. And it's kind of irresponsible if we don't do it. It can be very irresponsible if we don't do it. So I do worry about that as we move forward. We have to concentrate on what we're doing as we move forward. And I think, Shenita, you locked up there.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
Can you hear me, Shenita? Okay. Great, you're back. But that's what I wanted to talk about. And be excited about your investments. Be excited about your investments as you move forward. That's what we need. So don't be afraid. Be excited as we move forward. And Kenji, you talked about aspire to different things. We did the Gantt Foundation. One of the reasons we did the Gantt Foundation, which we reach out to our family, as far as my cousins, we all come together, meet on the fifth Sundays, was to teach us about financial literacy. We have a lawyer that actually helped set up wills. We have a nurse and a particular doctor and so on, certain individuals that help us with health needs. And we try to teach each other. We should do that as a community. We should continue doing that as people all over. So knowledge is power. Let's continue to seek that and continue to learn and grow from it.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I truly appreciate you guys for all that you do and what you represent as a couple, as what you represent individually. I know Tangi is an educator, so that is, goes hand in hand with you being an educator on the financial piece. And so you guys are a powerful couple. I am always proud to see you guys, to hear from you guys, and just thank you for just investing into others' lives. And I wish you much success with the business. And I hope that you continue to get calls and appointments from this show. I hope that you do, and you continue to stay busy and be able to provide for your family. And others will come to you and seek the advice that they need to be able to provide for their families.
Yes.
So thank you for being a man of integrity. And Tangi, thank you for being the ladder holder for your husband all these years, and you as well to her. So I appreciate you guys more than you know. So thank you all
Thank
for
you.
being here tonight. Yes, yes, yes. And I'll be in to see you soon
Yes. Waiting. That'd be great.
to start over. So thank you guys, and you have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
You as
And if
well,
there's
Shenita.
anything else you want to say, either Floyd, you want to say anything to anybody about seeing you, coming to see you?
No, no. Listen. I thought it was great, Shenita. Again, thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing us to share this message to everybody. I mean, if you do feel like you need to reach out to my information is below, but anything, any questions you might have, feel free to give me a call. That's what the Lord put me here to at least try to answer those questions. Continue to grow. Hopefully, you reach out and touch someone today that maybe feels inspired to kind of understand and grow. And I'm always going to give you my opinion, and hopefully, I can help you on that journey. I do consider myself like a finance minister in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
really, I do because I want to teach the word, but I just want to make sure you understand it from a financial standpoint. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I will never, no matter what you have, how much you have, whether it's 5,000 or 5 million, I'm always going to give you what I think my opinions on different things based on my reading and what I think the best way for you to go.
I appreciate that. And so many wonderful comments out here. The audience are saying, thank you both very much. This is wonderful information. Someone even said our legacy depends on our knowledge and the choices we make.
Yes,
So,
I agree wholeheartedly. And thank you for the great questions. Tell people thank you for the great. Those were two questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
You too.
And enjoy the rest of your night. And your princess that just turned 5.
Yeah, she's so happy. She's 5 finally.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, you know.
I see. I didn't know that. I see.
And Daddy's teaching her about stocks right now. She don't understand it yet, but Daddy's teaching her.
She's gonna be able to teach she's gonna be able to teach some other kids soon. She's gonna be holding classes.
There you go.
I look forward to seeing that one day.
That'd be great.
Yes. Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
I should take care.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that broadcast, part 2 for the love of money. You know, we did dig a little deeper this time, and I hope that you guys learned something and that you will contact Mr. Gantt and sit down and talk with him via Zoom, because he loves Zoom, he said, or, you know, over the phone to discuss what your personal needs might be. And I certainly would love for you guys to make sure that your financial house is in order before something happens, because we know that something will happen. We just don't know when. So as always, remember that I love you, but God loves you most and he loves you best. I want to thank you for joining us again this evening. As always, tune in each Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we just want to make sure that people are thinking about those tough areas of your life that we tend to avoid, that we are sitting down and we're talking about it, and we have a game plan on the chessboard. We're making the right moves to get things done so that our family members will be at peace when the time comes, whether we are ill from COVID-19 or something else, or when we pass away, because we are all going to depart this world. So we want to prepare for end of life. It's one of those things that we must do, and sit down and talk about it and get it done. So I hope that this show has been a blessing to you, and that it will continue to be a blessing to you along the journey. Next Thursday, I'm excited to have some friends join me. How many of us have friends? And we're going to talk about friendship. What does that look like? And how many, again, of us have them? Friends. So thank you guys and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening.
We're in the midst of sorrow. You can see her when looking down. A brighter day, tomorrow will bring. You hear the voice of reason telling you this could never be done. No matter how reality seems, just hold on to your dreams.